The following program is a public service of Gulf Coast State College, WKGC, and Commodore Productions. And now, the Military Hour with Cary Deeter.
Welcome to another edition of Military Hour, and I have a very special guest with me today, Mr. Decody Brad Marble, a fellow brother in arms who has served his country faithfully for many years, and now he has taken on another role as president and registrar of the Panama City chapter of the Florida Society, the Sons of the American Revolution. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Tell us about your service. Tell us about what you want to, because I'm excited. Most of us love history, and boy, do you look historical. I didn't say hysterical, I said historical. So thank you for being here again.
First of all, I'd like to thank Gulf Coast State College. I'm an alumni here. I graduated in 1996. I wanted to say 76, but perhaps it's a uniform. Okay, and I had just retired from the United States Army. I had done 10 years with the Air Force and 10 years with the United States Army. I was in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and I was in 50 caliber machine gun crew chief who rode for about 15 hours straight across Iraq on 24 February 1991, which is known as G-Day, Ground Defense Day. And that's a day like I remember it. It was like yesterday. It's so clear because my adrenaline, I was all pumped up that day. There were Black Hawks and Chinooks and other helicopters flying above me, and half tracks and tanks on each side. And we started as a convoy, and being up front, I was assigned to be up front with the convoy leader, and there were we split up, and when I looked behind me, it was like ships at sea, a armada of trucks and vehicles across the desert. So it was really experience, like I say. And I have a photo album on the internet at the Panama City chapter Sons of American Revolution website, some pictures that I took that day.
So that was the desert in Iraq around Basra, is that the area?
Yeah, I had gone all the way up to Basra. That was right behind the 24th Infantry. I was with the Forward Support Group Battalion. Whatever.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tell me what you do with the Sons, and I'm just shortening it for me, but what do you do with the Sons of the American Revolution?
Okay, well, I am the president and the register, and I'm a National Society Sons of the American Revolution recognized descendant of 23 American Revolutionary patriots, and one is a female.
Fabulous. Can you, say how many descendants one more time for the listeners, because when I first heard that a while ago, I was like, seriously? I mean, that's just, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
Traceable, trackable.
Yeah, these would be direct bloodline to great-grandparents that fall within the 7th, 8th, and 9th generation. And the 7th generation I have about 6, and 8th generation I have 9 patriots, and the 9th generation I have 8 patriots, which adds up to 23. Presently, up at national level, which is in Louisville, Kentucky, I have my 24th Patriot, which is my 23rd supplement, but 24th Patriot being looked at for approval, and I'm working on my 25th.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Directly related descendants. That is just...
Yes, direct bloodline, either through the father or the mother, and it can crisscross back and forth in your lineage through, as long as it's a direct bloodline. And you have to prove 100% from generation to generation the relationship between each generation, and prove that the individual was a patriot of the American Revolution. When I say a patriot of the American Revolution, it's not just a soldier. It's anyone who is documented, who has aided the American revolutionary cause. These can be people who provided pigs and hogs to feed the soldiers, shelter for the soldiers. These are people who paid a supply tax or a war tax in their community, and the money was turned over to the local militia. These are also people who took the oath of allegiance. And a lot of them in North Carolina, if you have an ancestor from North Carolina during a revolutionary period, they had to take an oath of allegiance when they bought land. So if you had an ancestor bought land between 78 and 79, they're recognized as a revolutionary patriot because they had to take an oath of allegiance to acquire that land.
That is very, very interesting.
Yes.
So that sounds like it's kind of a bit of a formidable task to do all the research and to find the lineage connections and links. So it sounds like you spent a lot of time doing that.
Yes, I spent a lot of time at a computer. My 23, now hopefully 24, I've done it in 5 years period. And this summer I have sworn in 5 new members, which is paperwork. But I have to examine the proof documents, the application, and get it all in order before it's forwarded to Pensacola, where the state register is. And when the state register says A-OK, then he forwards it to national. If something's wrong, the state register emails me back and says, we need this and this and this. And I try to keep that to a minimum. And when people come through me to want to apply, I'm not somebody who looks at the paperwork and says, this is not the way it's supposed to be done. I'm the one who corrects the paperwork. I'm the one who will do further research. If a relationship isn't quite proven, I'll help you out. I am here to serve Panama City community. I'm here to serve the Sons of the American Revolution, and being a register, I have to be just not the guy who pushes the paperwork. I have to be an excellent researcher and make sure everything gets through.
So you've got your hands full even on the research end. Now this, I'm just throwing this out there because I find very strange in my family. I can't find anybody past my own grandfather. It's like, are you kidding me? They were either criminals or they came here illegally, which I don't believe happened. But it's just odd. I'd ask aunts and uncles that are in their 80s, and, well, what was your granddad's name? Gee, I don't know. What was your aunt's? Oh, nobody knows anything. I'm like, come on, they're covering something up.
Well, if you know your grandparents or you know where they're from or whatever, the first thing you basically do when you're researching is you start with the census and start going back from, you know, if you have a clue where their name it. With a name like yours, it's rare. That's a rare name. Marble's a rare name. And those names are the easiest to research. If your name is Smith, Brown, or Jones, that can be tough. But it starts with the census, and I've worked through all the archives at the very different states, looking for last will and testimonies. Often when there's dowries and gifts given with land, and a person mentions the name of their daughter and their son, and you utilize that to prove it. So I've gone through this over and over again with my own research and other research for other individuals. So I can help others. You know, if they get hung up, I can advise them what to do.
But I've always thought that was very odd about my side of the family. Like, can't find anything. And they came in through Ellis Island, like many did, from overseas. So, census records. So I had to go back and start looking. I've never really looked at those. So,
Yeah.
but it makes sense. See, census makes sense. Okay, I knew you would. So, what year was the Panama City chapter started?
Panama City chapter was started in July 1973. And the first president was Thomas Bingham, who was the president of the Bay County Chamber of Commerce. And since that time, there has been over 100 members to the Panama City chapter. I have a list of those members. And today, we're just 21 members. You ask where happened to the 100. Some left the state, some passed away, and some just stopped being a member of the chapter. Amongst those who have stopped being members of the chapter are names which I will not mention on TV, but they're prominent people that you would all recognize. And I just like to say something to them right now. Please come back to our chapter. I will cover the local fee of $15. All you have to pay is the state and national fee. And there's no penalty for leaving the Sons of the American Revolution. And we ask you to come back and try us out again, because I believe the organization has changed a little bit, and we're growing very quickly, and we're interacting with the DAR, and we just love to have you back. Our meetings for the Panama City chapter is the third Monday of every month at 11:30 a.m. at the Poor Folks Restaurant on the corner of Balboa Avenue and Business 98 or 15th Street. There, right after the tracks there. We meet in the back room there. So we start off with a prayer, do the Pledge of Allegiance, do a Treasury report, do cover a little business. But when the waiter comes and takes our order, and when it's time to eat, we stop everything because we want you to have a hot meal and enjoy it. And then we often go impromptu at the meeting. So it's a family, warm family event, and you can bring, if you want to visit, bring a friend or a spouse.
Good deal. And that's kind of SOP for most veteran service organizations and other organizations as well, as far as the structure, opening business and prayers. But it sounds very, very interesting. Tell me something, since I've got this little dilemma that I keep getting the stonewall on in my family, because now my curiosity's really piqued. So I find out they're some good people, or they're all bad people. I hope they're good people. But, but you don't want to look in that closet too deep if there's somebody really heinous in there, like Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, you're going to find the good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody does.
But what are the chances of finding one of mine, say, that might have been a Revolutionary War patriot or in that era?
Well, if your ancestors, of course, came after the Revolution, and I have a great-grandmother whose both parents came here in 1850, which is way after the American Revolution. So that was one lineage I could not trace back on, and I was fortunate to trace back all my other lineages. And I too have brick walls in my lineage. I see other possible 4 or 5 patriots, but when there's like a daughter and I can't make that relationship connection, it's like I can't include those other 5 until I find that proof. What's nice is that every year Ancestry.com and the Later Day Saints and all these other genealogical websites are adding millions of records every year, and the odds are getting easier for you to trace back. It's also, if you have an aunt or someone who belongs to the DAR, that is the easiest way to get into the Sons of the American Revolution. Because if you have someone who's already proved their lineage in the Daughters of American Revolution, the paperwork can be ordered and crossed, and all you have to do is submit, like, you know, your from your grandparents' death record and your birth certificate and your parents' records or whatever,
sure,
and to wherever that link is with an aunt or a grandmother. So that, and speaking of the Daughters of the American Revolution, I like to thank the St. Andrews Bay chapter, Daughters of American Revolution in Bay County. We had 5 new members sworn in this summer, and 4 of them came through the Daughters of the American Revolution, making my job very easy. Each one of those female got an award for it. And lately I had made a donation to the Daughters of American Revolution, telling them that for next year, for every patriot they could help me with, a male member, I would make a $100 donation to the Daughters of the American Revolution. And
good for you.
Yeah, so
we're all proverbial donators.
yeah, donation to the Daughters of the American Revolution is a donation to the Sons of the American Revolution. That's why I'm doing it that way. Why donate the money straight to my chapter when I can make the money work for us? And that's what we need now, is to increase our membership.
And I know Mr. Decody Brad Marble is not going to toot his own horn, but you're also a member of the Bay County Veterans Council.
Yes.
We meet once a month at one of the VSOs. And
yeah, I'm a life member with all the VSOs.
Yep.
I'm a life member with the Sons of the American Revolution. I belong to the War of 1812 Society. I belong to the Bay County Genealogical Society. I belong to the Northwest Veterans Task Force.
Yep.
I belong to the Friends of the Army of Ozark
wow.
in Alabama, and I'm probably forgetting somebody. But yes, and I belong most of all to the Disabled American Veterans. That's who I forgot. And I always want to do more with all those organizations, but I am so tied down with being a president and a register of the Panama City organization, being a public relations man, the webmaster. And please visit our website. All you have to do is go to the Google search engine, type SAR Panama City chapter, and it will be the first hit on your Google search. And click on it, you'll find a photo album with 110 pictures of our members and what we're doing. And there's 3 videos and YouTube videos. And there's my Desert Storm photo albums there, and footage from when I was in the parade at Veterans Parade in Tallahassee. And I also was a master of ceremony for Ansel Farrell, who was a revolutionary patriot who's buried in Leon County. The only patriot buried in Leon County, Florida.
Tell the viewers and listeners one more time the website, because a lot of times they're trying to write it down, they're like, oh, I didn't get the end of that.
Yeah, well, it's our email address is like an acronym. It's sarpcfl@gmail.com.
Yep, on the screen now.
We're at Google Plus. And if you go to the Google search engine, if you just type in SAR and then type out the word Panama City chapter and hit the enter, you'll go. On the hits, we're the #1 hit.
Well, that's easy enough to do.
Yes, it's very, and there's plenty of material there. You can download an application form, and you got any questions, just email me at that email address, and I can help you out with any information at all.
Tell me this. Other than with me, it would be vanity, pure vanity. But I do love history. So what benefit is it for somebody to actually trace their lineage back to the Revolution?
The benefit is for me, it does something for my soul, whatever. It makes me feel a lot better. I was a gun-ho trooper in the Army, and I always thought, why am I really like this, you know? I didn't start doing my genealogy till after I had left the service, and then I started finding all these patriots, and I thought, well, you know, any genealogist is going to tell you there's no such thing as a patriot gene or DNA, but there's elements in your blood that you inherited from the past that make you who you are. And when you find great people in your heritage and your history, you got somebody who you already know is part of you inside, and you can tell yourself, I want to be like this person. And know they're related to you, and of course it's also helped me, of all the things to do for my community, I thought, well, this is a natural. Everything comes together.
Yep, there you go. So, and I was going to ask you a question, just a hypothetical. That do you think that some of us are not only just born to serve? Do you think some people are born warriors? That they have that warrior spirit in them when they're born, and the spirit of servitude?
I would say there's certain genetic structure that help form your brain or whatever what you have, and help determine who you are. And it's up the end of. I grew up in the 60s, and it was always about the me generation, or who am I generations, experiment with drugs and stuff, and which for me, that's not the way to go. The way to find out who you are is to accept the fact, your heritage, embrace who you are, no matter where you come from in the world. Exactly. Your culture, embrace it. Your race, embrace it.
Absolutely.
Your family, embrace it. Yes, you may have some people that upset you. You may find somebody in your lineage that upsets you, but you're going to find those people that you're going to be proud of, and you're going to say to yourself, gee, I think some of that is in me. And for me, that works. It helps get you motivated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my dad was some kind of a BAMF, I won't go into the explanation of that, in the Pacific Theater of World War II, and he was a Navy submariner, and he kept telling me, hey, kid, you need to go ahead and get in the Navy because they're going to draft you and you're going to go to Vietnam. I went, no, I don't think so, Pop, that's too much water. Young and dumb, I didn't know that they have not just ships and all that. So lo and behold, I got drafted, Army, 71. But, I wish, and I said all that just to say this, I wish that I could be half the man that I believe my father was.
Yeah.
Because he was just, he wouldn't stand for any, he had a good time. He wouldn't stand for anybody trying to abuse anybody else or start a bunch of junk. Mm-hmm. And I say it like this, he was a man that had hands of steel when need be, and hands of silk when need be. Because, he just as rough and tumble as he was, he could be just as nice. And I always admired that trait in him, because I'm the kid with the short fuse. So I've had to learn to control that. But anyway, enough about that. Tell me about a positive experience that an active member or you yourself have in the Sons of the American Revolution. There's got to be some positive. I think it would be all positive.
Well, what I really enjoy the most is just the wearing of this uniform.
I love it.
Yeah, people come out of their cocoon when you see when I'm wearing in this uniform. They want to walk up to you with their child and say, we'd like to have our picture taken with you. And it happens in so many different places, and it really breaks the ice and makes it easier. I almost feel like I'm a different person sometimes when I wear this uniform. And I met some great individuals being in the Sons of the American Revolution. And when I had left the service, I had stayed to myself for a long time, and when I went to a ceremony in Seattle, Washington that was celebrating my War of 1812 ancestor who had traveled across America to Seattle, and there were 17 men who were in the War of 1812 who had settled in Washington State, and they put up a monument for him, and I went to that ceremony, and they were all applauding and amazed because I flew all the way from Panama City for that. And when I was there, the Sons of the American Revolution was there, and there were 4 guys, 2 with shooting their muskets, their flintlocks, one playing a little old bugle, and I thought it was the Liberty Bell, but they had this truck with this great big huge bell on the back of the truck, and there was a guy dressed up ringing the bell, and every time they read one of the 17 names off the monument, he pulled that bell. And I looked at them and I thought, now there's an organization to be a member of. Yep. And it takes special people to really lead and really work hard in an organization, and it takes special organizations to have those special people. And for me, it's the Sons of the American Revolution. It does it all for me.
And kudos to you. And I'll real quickly just say this, because I had this discussion earlier today. And as you know, there's a lot going on here in Panama City today, as it does every year this time. The Navy base this morning had a service for Gold Star families, mothers and fathers and such. Beautiful ceremony. We've also got the Veteran Stand Down happening as we speak in town. Mm-hmm. And later this afternoon, we've got Warrior Beach Retreat with the Linda Cope's organization welcoming the warriors, wounded warriors here and their caregivers. But that every organization has to have that leadership. They rise and fall on leadership. And the discussion I wanted to mention was when we take the oath. If you're going to take an oath, it needs to be not only here, it needs to be here, ingrained in your soul. And you live it, and you breathe it, and you do it. You're committed to it.
Amen.
It's like being married. It's a commitment. It's not a feeling. You're either going to do veteran support and help veterans, or you're not. So if you're not going to, don't join. Just don't bother. If you're going to be a productive part, join up. Do what you got to do. Real quick, because we're coming up on time, do you have any closing remarks that you want to make to the public at large, all our brothers and sisters, veterans, active duty, you name it?
Yes, I do. As you all know, Veterans Day is coming up on the 12th of November on a Monday. Bay County Veterans Day Parade going down Harrison Street for 1 mile and 4/10. I will be in this uniform marching in front of my flag truck, and the regent of the Daughters of the American Revolution, Tina Doss, will be in her colonial outfit marching or walking, I would say, with me down the street. What I would like to ask all veterans is please show up for the Veterans Day Parade. It's your parade. And wear a hat, wear a shirt that marks you as a veteran. If I spot you while I'm walking down that street, I'm going to march or walk right up to you and give you that salute that you so justly deserve. And it's more than just a veteran and a veteran saluting. I represent the birth of our nation, and I represent all the veterans who have given their lives and who have given their all to serve this country to make it what it is today. And so I represent the past, saluting you, saying, job well done.
Decody Brad Marble, thank you. The door is open, and I know you're modest, especially except when you're in the uniform, but I want the brothers and sisters to know that this is a battle-scarred, heartfelt blood warrior that gave his own blood in defense of our nation. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you
Come
very
back.
much.
Please come back.
Sure will. Thank you.